Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are delivering on promise and playing some dragon rulers. Um, we are going to do kind of a little bit of a test hand, like we did the Magic Key video. We're going to do 5 test hands, and then we'll go over some side deck stuff. I have not been playing this deck religiously. I have kept it together and play it kind of casually, but there's been other decks I've been playing and having fun with. Like Doomsy. And so I haven't been playing this deck as much, so the side deck is still very up in the air. I have some ideas and where I want the deck to go, but yeah. So we'll just do 5 test hands, kind of like we did with the Magic Key deck. Kind of go over what we're looking for, what the deck can do, and then just kind of some deck theory. So without further ado, been kind of shuffling on camera here for a little bit. I have made a few changes to the deck since that video that I posted. Most notably, took out the White Rose Dragon, which was awful, as well as changed up the extra deck quite a bit. So, or not quite a bit, but a little bit. So we're still on 2 Chasma, 2 Eclipses. I'm on 2 Disaster now. Just found that it came up a little bit more. Still on the Darkest Doom Rider, still on a Big Eye, still on Dark Armed. I'm on Kurzebs. Basically, what this guy does is if he's on the field and a normal or quick play is activated, you can attach the quick play to it, or the card to it. And then and then it's unaffected by that effect. And then during the end phase, you can set cards that are attached to this guy. So what you can do is make him, and then when you do the Here There Be Dragons to make Disaster, you can reset it. So you get two activations off of it. Still on Zeus. I took out the Draco Sack, and I took out the 2 level 7 Synchros. We're on a Stardust Charge Warrior. This is mostly just to beat Flying Sea if people are still playing it. Still on Dissipator, still on Return Zero, and still on Changing. So, yeah, that's kind of the changes I've made. Yeah, we trimmed the deck down to 41 cards as of right now, but it's still very similar to the build that I was playing. So, without further ado, been shuffling for a little bit. Let's go ahead and draw 5 here. So right off the bat, the more names that we see, the better. This is a card you don't want to see. It's all right to see because it's not as hard of a brick, but you'd rather search it. Same with the Miradora. I'm only on 1 Miradora right now, just because if I want to, I can search it. But we'll get into that when it comes to side deck stuff. But yeah, let's just play this hand out real quick. So always, I want to start with a baby ruler pitching a big ruler. This just gets you free advantage because you're summoning a dragon ruler without using its effect. So we're doing this. We're going to summon Title. And then from here, we're going to go Redox to Special. And I'm actually going to banish the Miradora, just because it's not going to be as efficient otherwise. And we are going to summon Redox. And then we're going to overlay for Chasma. We're going to activate Chasma's effect, detaching the Title. Important there. And we're going to send Tempest for cost. And then Chasma will resolve. We'll copy Tempest's effect to add a dragon monster from deck to hand. We're going to grab Red Rose Dragon. So this is your bread and butter, like, first turn setup. There are some things that can go wrong if you get Flying Seed when you have the 2 rulers out. That can hurt. Otherwise, it can hurt to just get hit with Droll on the search. Or, no, we haven't searched yet. So this is the first time that they can Droll us. And so, yeah. From here, we're going to go Title effect to Special, and we're going to banish Blaster, Tempest. Now, when I talked about this deck before, I talked about how hard this deck can be to play. And this is why. It's like balancing which times you want to, or which dragons you want to banish with what effects. So, um, we'll go Tempest Chainlink 1, Blaster Chainlink 2. And with Tempest, actually, we're going to grab... we're going to grab Arm Dragon Thunder level 3. And then Blaster is going to grab Burner. So notably, Chasma is only copying the effect. It's not actually using the effect of Tempest. So we can still use its effect this turn. Okay. And then from here, we're off to the races. We want to make 3 level 10 synchros. We can normal summon the Red Rose. And synchro here. First one I always make is Dissipator. Although there's an argument to be made if you started with Spectral to make return 0. Yeah. There's an argument to be made to make return 0 because Nibiru is being played more. And you're going to be playing into Nibiru here a lot. So it is, if you've discarded or if you've gotten a Spectral in rotation, then definitely make the return 0. From there, Red Rose will activate to special summon Rux Rose. Rux Rose would usually grab the Basil Rose Shoot. We do not need to do that. And then we can go Burner effect. To summon Blaster. And then we go Arm Dragon level 3 effect. To draw a card. That's great. That is a card that you want to see. And then we're going to synchro here. Now, this is the last level 10 synchro we'll make because we opened 2 non-players. We only get to make 1 other synchro. And I am going to make... I'm going to make return 0 here. Because we have a good amount of attributes in Grave. We're missing Earth. And we're missing Light. But if the Chasma goes to Grave, we have a Light. And if Chasma goes to Grave, we have both attributes. So, yeah, it's not that bad. And then... So what this looks like, this is kind of unopposing. Or, unassuming. But what we're looking at here is a negate of each attribute in the game by banishing a corresponding attribute from Grave. We have Dissipator, which when your opponent activates a monster effect, can shuffle in one of your guys into the deck to destroy the monster, or shuffle a banished card your opponent controls to negate that effect. And he's also just big. He's 35-35. And then Chasma can detach and send Blaster to non-target pop a card on the field. So we have some play here. Notably as well, your opponent has to do a lot to get over this board. And if Joshua Schmidt has taught us one thing, it's that Dragon Rulers have a grind game unlike any other. So what I will say is set the Basil Rose Shoot. You're threatening here there be dragons. Even though we don't have an Eclipses in play, we still have some other things that we can do. And then we can go Super Rejuve. We go to end phase, Super Rejuve, and then draw 4 cards. And unfortunately, we drew the Here There Be Dragons, but that's going to happen. So, yeah. That is your going first plan 90% of the time. if we drew something that wasn't a Miradora and something that wasn't a Basil Rose shoot, we make the next level 10 synchro, and that's when we make the Changing. Usually, the order that I make things is going to be Dissipator, Return 0, Changing. But like I said, if we are afraid Nibiru and we've already got a Light Engrave, make the Return 0 first. Cool. On to the next hand. Alright, for the second hand. This is going to be a very tired video because this deck does do very similar things. For this one, we're going to attempt to play around Droll and things like that, or just show kind of how to be a little more versatile with what we do. So, 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love to see this. This is a really good hand. Right off the bat, this does not play around Droll very well, but it can. And I think it's important to be able to play around Droll, but also, like, sometimes you just have to play into Droll and knowing how to play under Droll as well. So, right off the bat, we want to resolve Spectral more than we want to resolve level 3. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Spectral effect, pitching the level 3. And we're going to grab I think we're grabbing Nebulas. And Blaster. No, we're not grabbing Nebulas. We're grabbing Reactin. Sometimes we want to grab the Nebulas. But if we're anticipating Droll, this plays under Droll a lot better. And I think also just in the long run, it just plays better too. Alright, so let's, for the purpose of this, say we got hit by Droll. What are we going to do? We're going to go Lightning, Special Summon Tempest. We got hit by Droll, so we can't resolve level 3. And then we'll go Reactin, pitching Blaster, Special Summoning Redox. Now, from here, I am going to overlay for Chasma. Chasma is always going to be like the first thing that we ever make. And then we're going to go Blaster effect, banishing Lightning and Reactin. And then we'll go Tidal effect, banishing these two. So we've used Tidal, Blaster, Lightning, Reactin, and Spectral. The super rejuves in our hand. We're going to overlay here. Usually if we get Drolled, we're not going to go through, unless we hard drew our Red Rose, we're not going to be able to actually get the, whatchamacallit, the Red Rose in rotation. So we're not going to be doing any of the synchro plays. We're going to make Eclipse here. Eclipse effect will activate. We're going to target Lightning, and it's going to shuffle it into the deck and Special Summon Tempest. So we get another dragon in rotation here. That's a Spectral. That's a Tempest. They're like kind of similar when you're just going through the deck, especially when you have mixed match rarities like I do. And then from here, we're going to go Chasma effect, detaching Redox, And we're going to send title for effect. Or we could send Redox to special summon this Redox as well. But we're going to go title. Wherever he is. Title will then send another one. And that is going to be... I think we're just grabbing... we've already activated Blaster. I think, unfortunately, it is going to be Tempest. Then we go... Redox effect. Banishing Title and Tempest. And then we'll get the Tempest search. And this is why we play the Miradora. And then we can make our last rank 7. Which is most of the time going to be Doom Dragon Rider. Now, if we weren't under-Droll, we might make this guy the Kurzebs, because then we can get Super Rejuve next turn, but I don't think that's really worth it. Alright, so what are we looking at? So under-Droll. Oh, we can't search Tempest. Did I misplay somewhere? Did I search? No. We just couldn't activate Tempest, so we don't have the Miradora. So what we're looking at here is we have a spell trap negate with Eclipse. Notably, this banishes, so if your opponent's playing a card that likes to be destroyed, like Testina or something like that, this will be okay for that. Chasma will send... Most of the time, it's going to be Blaster. And go from there. Pop a card. And then Doom Dragon Rider will... Or Doomed Rider, whatever it's called. Will pop a card. And then if it's a monster, it'll gain attack. Right. Yeah. If we did not get hit by Droll, then we would also be able to activate Super Rejuve and draw 6 cards. So, but usually if I have a spare spell, I will set it just to feint the Here There Be Dragons as well, because then your opponent's playing around that the entire time, and might use some sort of something on this. So, yeah, if this survives, if you make it to the next turn with these guys intact, you can easily make Disaster and do a mass banish, but that's an if. So yeah, now if your opponent had Droll and Nibiru, they're just better than you and you lose. But yep. So usually if you get hit by Droll and you don't have the red rose, you're going to just be making a bunch of Xyz monsters. And that's why the extra deck is filled with a lot more Xyz monsters than not. So, on to the next hand. Alright, so thinking back through that footage, I'm 90% sure I actually did search under-Droll. So we're going to play this one under-Droll again, and just going to pay a lot closer attention. It's kind of hard when you're not playing against somebody and you're just kind of putting the restriction on yourself. So, yeah, we're going to play under-Droll again. And maybe this time we'll do it right. So I guess the second one will be like, this is how you play Dragon Rulers incredibly badly. So, that's a really good sign. That's not as good of a sign. Okay, so this hand is kind of butts. Yeah. So, thinking right off the bat, we want Spectral to resolve. And we have the Rux Rose. I think what this hand is going to try and accomplish is going to be disastering our opponent. Under-Droll. So, just trying to think of what we can do here. We're going to go Spectral. We're going to pitch the Ruxrose. We're going to grab, like we usually do, we're going to grab a baby. We're going to go Stream and Blaster. No, we're going to go Lightning Blaster. The reason why is we play more of these big dragons, so we want to go through them. Yeah. So, we get Drolled here. We're going to go Lightning. Special Summon Tempest. We'll go Blaster. Banishing Spectral Lightning. And then we'll go Overlay here for Chasma. We'll go Chasma effect. Doesn't really matter because we're under-Droll. Sending Tempest. Sending Tidal. And Tidal will send Redox. We're going to summon Tidal or Redox by banishing Tempest Tidal. And then we'll activate Nebulas, targeting these two to special. Right. Yeah. We'll overlay here for Eclipses. Pass turn. Or we'll set that in pass turn. So, without any searching or anything, we've set up a disaster play. We have all 4 attributes in rotation. And all 6 attributes in rotation, so that's really good as well. We have a couple different options we can do here. We can banish. I guess actually, I totally forgot. We do get Eclipse's effect to get Tempest from deck. So we do get to make another level 7 or rank 7, which again is usually going to be this guy. So we have a bunch of different varied interaction like we did with the last hand, but once we exhaust our interactions, or sometimes you don't even get a good use of Eclipse, we can do this, make Disaster, and then Disaster will equip all attributes. Although the Redox is under this guy. So maybe I would actually use Chasma to send Redox, another Redox. And then reborn something like some Ruxrose, and then Ruxrose will grab the Basil Rose shoot. So then that way I have all 4 attributes in play. And then we get the Mass Banish from Disaster. Yeah, we just go from there. Yeah. On to the next hand. So as you can see, when you do get Drolled, it's not the end of the world. I think that there's playing around it as well. Just keep in mind that you can get Drolled. Don't go spectraling and then adding 2 cards that you're gonna need to search to play. Usually you're gonna grab, if you have 2 big daddies, if you have 2 big rulers, grab 2 small rulers. With Spectral, if you have basically you want to be able to use 2 small rulers. So that's what I'm usually grabbing with these. Yeah, on the next hand. All right, for this hand, we're going to try and play around another floodgate that really stops us, and that's going to be Flying Sea. There's a couple different ways that this deck has to play around it. Let me grab a Flying Sea real quick so that I can show us. Now, I don't know how often we're going to actually see Flying Sea anymore. I haven't seen a lot of deck lists playing it. 7 points is kind of steep for it, but it's good to know how to play around it. Yeah. Alright, so playing around Flying Sea. You don't like to see nebulas in your opening hand. Okay. So this hand's pretty decent. Minus the nebulas, but we might be able to still use that. Now, this is a little difficult because we might get screwed over by the fact that we don't have a big dragon ruler and we didn't draw red rose. So, we're going to see what we can do. Let's start with Burner. Grabbing Blaster. Okay. Nobody's going to Flying Sea you here. We'll trigger Armed Dragon Thunder level 7 to grab level 5. And then we'll go Lightning. Or, no, I think we're always grabbing... No, we're grabbing level 5. Because we want the, we want the extra fodder. So, we'll go Lightning, pitching level 5. Special Summoning Tempest. We'll go level 5, Chainlink 1. Our opponent will go Flying Sea, Chainlink 2. We are no longer allowed to make Chasma from right here on. Because we know we got hit with Flying Sea, Armed Dragon Thunder level 5 will be able to add something. I'm probably going to be adding level 7 or Pile Armed Dragon. I think it's going to be Pile Armed here. Just because we're going to have to go super minus to clear this Flying Sea. And we don't want the level 5 on board. We're going to Tribute Summon over the Flying Sea. Bam, it's off the board. But we had to go super minus to do it. So, how are we going to recoup our advantage? We're going to go Pile Armed effect. Targeting itself, sending level 3. It's the only one that we haven't used. Draw a card off the level 3. That's a really good one. That's what you like to see. Alright, so we've used 2 small and none of the big. From here, we can make Chasma. And from here, we're off to the races. A couple different things that we can do here. We have enough fodder to make a ton of level 10 synchros. So I think that's where we're going to go. We're going to detach the blaster, search, or send Tempest, search. Well, we don't have Redox in rotation right now. It doesn't matter. Tempest, search, Red Rose. And then we are going to go... we can go... kind of want to keep the title in my hand. We'll go Tempest, banishing 2. And normal summon Red Rose. Synchro here. We did not start with Spectral, so we have no insulation from Nibiru right now. So we're just going to go Dispatter. And then we can go Blaster. Or no, sorry. We got to go Red Rose. Red Rose, Special Summon the Rux Rose. Rux Rose will add the Basil Rose Shoot. And then we can go Blaster. Banish Tempest. And Lightning. And then Synchro here. For return 0. And then we have some Divulging Paths. We've used both Tempest and Blaster. And so we don't have 2 other dudes to make Eclipses. Trying to think if there is an option here. Yeah, unfortunately the Nebulas makes it a little difficult because they have special summon 2 different attributes. And because we didn't get the Redox in time, we have no way of getting the 4th attribute going. So Disaster actually, I mean, we'll still be able to. It's just a matter of getting the appropriate attributes in rotation here. How do we do that? Let's see here. We can go, I guess maybe instead of this, no. This is the right play. We go title here. Just have to think through it a little bit. Like I said, this deck is difficult. Summon title. We still get to end on the same board, but much better. Now we make Eclipse. Eclipse, target, not Lightning, Burner to go into the deck, and Special Summon Blaster. Now we get to do this for return 0. Now, we still don't have every attribute in rotation, but we're about to be. We can set 2 and pass from there. So what this also means is next turn we do get a lot of follow-up in the form of Nebulas. So it's okay that we drew this. During the standby phase, or no. We're going to save that, and we're going to negate something with Eclipses. Hopefully. We have return 0. We have Dissipator, so that we get a bunch of negates off. And then usually, I mean, this is a pretty formidable board. I'm saving Chasma, most notably. But this is a formidable board. Between Dissipator, return 0, and Eclipses, we have a bunch of interaction. And then as our opponent's winding down, or say they're just making a push and we still weren't able to beat them or stop them, we can go Here There Be Dragons and then chain Chasma. And Chasma will send Title. Title will send Redox. And then we will special summon the Blaster. Overlay here for Disaster. Disaster effect. Bam, bam. Bam, and bam. And there we go. We got to do... This was a crazy hand, even through the Flying Sea. During the end phase, Blaster will turn to our hand because it was special summoned. And there we go. We popped off. So, yeah. Next hand. Alright. For our last hand, we're just going to do a regular hand. I'm not going to try and play around Nibiru or show how to play once you get Nibiru because I think it's pretty evident. You go Chasma, you search the red rose, and you try to make return 0. If you have the Spectral, that's the best practice going forward in Graveyard. But otherwise, you know, you might just get hosed. With that being said, I don't think Nibiru is seeing as much play as it really should, honestly. But also, I don't think, you know, you go two dragons, make Chasma, that's 3 summons. Get another dragon, normal summon red rose, that's 5 summons. But I don't think most people are going to Nibiru there. I think you're pretty insulated from Nibiru if you have the Spectral. So, this hand's just going to be a regular playthrough hand. This deck changes a lot when you're going second. And to show something like that would be impossible without showing replays. And so I would urge you to just play this deck yourself and just learn the interactions and go from there. But this deck does change heavily. So we're just going to do another 5-card test hand going first. You know, just see what we can gather from that. And then we'll talk side deck. Man, that Nebulous is glued to my hand. Alright. This is another good hand. Unfortunately, the Nebulous makes it a little weird, but there is tons of stuff that we can do for that. Level 5 is probably the best one to start off with this hand, so that's good. We're going to start Lightning. Get Tempest. Level 5 will activate. We'll grab level 7. And then we'll go Reacted. Special Summon Redox. And we'll go level 7 to grab level 1, or level 3. Now we're going to do a couple weird things in this hand, so just bear with me here. It's going to be very similar to what we've been doing. Chasma to search for... the red rose. Notice I did not detach the Tempest because we're sending the Tempest. Then we can go Redox, banishing 2. Normal summon the red rose, Synchro. We didn't start with Spectral, so we're just leaving ourselves open to Nibiru. There's an argument to be made. I will say there's an argument to be made with this kind of hand. We can make 4 rank 7s. And there's an argument to be made that we, instead of grabbing the red rose, I find the level 10 synchros to be more formidable than a couple rank 7s. But there's an argument to be made to add Spectral. And I think that that's totally valid. I think at that point you're pretty much making like 2 Chasma. And going to town from there. Like, you know what? Let's go down that path. Let's go down that path and just see where it leads us. So Instead of the red rose, we're going to grab Spectral. We'll go Spectral Effect. And we're going to grab Stream. And the other one doesn't really matter. We're going to grab Redox. Just because he's the less likely card to want to keep in the deck. I guess this doesn't even really matter because we still get hit by Nibiru. So yeah, let's just keep the hand that we did, because without Red Rose we don't actually get to make the return 0 and insulate ourselves. If we already had the Red Rose in our opening hand, then 100% we go Chasma to search the Spectral, but we didn't. So let's just continue the way it was. So sorry if that gets confusing. Normal summon, make the Dissipator. Then we go Red Rose, grab Rex Rose. Rex Rose to grab the Basil Rose shoot. And then we can go Tempest. Banish these two. And Synchro here for return 0. And then we can go Blaster. Banishing Tempest Redox. And then we go Basil Rose shoot. Grabbing Red Rose. Synchro here for Changing. And there you go. That is your basic level 10 Synchro combo. As long as you can summon 5 dragons, you can do this. The only thing that limits you is space, honestly. You know, if we're playing in traditional, you would make the Chasma up here or something, and then you would be able to Nebulas and make an Eclipse as well. But that is not the world that we live in. So, with that, what are we looking at? We're looking at Chasma for negate, or for a non-target pop, Dissipator for a negate or a monster destruction like a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Return 0 to ban it, or to lock your opponent out of fire and dark currently. But you could also Chasma to send, well, really anything. Sending Tidal would increase it to water and wind, or water and earth, depending on what you want. And then we have Changing. So the second we do banish something with return 0, we get to banish 1 card in our opponent's field and 1 card from their graveyard. And then also all of our monsters he is up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all the monsters your opponent controls are down by 700 tech defense. So, yeah, we got a lot going on here. We have tons of follow-up with Nebulas next turn. So we can just start off by making an Eclipse. If they get over any of these guys, we can make an Eclipse. And then we're also set up for a disaster play. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that there's probably room to be found to insulate us from Nibiru, because I'm seeing that that is kind of a big problem. Yeah, let's talk side deck. All right, here at the end of the video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the side deck stuff. Now, what makes the side deck so interesting for Dragon Ruler specifically is this card right here, as well as the hand requirement for the deck. As you saw going over all those test hands, even the brickiest of hands only ended with 1 extra card, and it was usually because that card was a brick, like Basil Rose Shoot. And so the Dragon Ruler cards eat up a lot of resources in your hands, and so you don't really want to be playing hand traps. And because what happens is you risk bricking on these cards and only getting like to a Chasma. And so I don't believe playing hand traps is the way to go in this deck. Um, but what I think is interesting is I think inciting patterns. I think because Super Rejuve exists, going first, you actually do want to play hand traps. Um, because you can draw into a critical mass of them with Super Rejuve. And then because Super Rejuve is not once per turn, if you draw into a second one or even a third one, you can just fill your hands up with these kind of cards. Your Miradoras, your DD Crows, your Skullmeisters. Now, keep in mind we are short on points. We don't get to play as many cool cards because of that. So I think going first, putting some of these in, really does go a long way. And maybe I would take out like 3 of the armed dragons. Maybe I'd take out like pile armed, level 7 and level 5. And go from there. Maybe I also take out the Basil Rose Shoot because you don't necessarily always need to make your 5 or your 3 level 10s. So yeah, that's where I think I would go with it. As far as going second, this deck has a lot of grind potential and plays through boards really easily. The only thing that really hurts is when you get hit with a floodgate. And so I'm taking out the Super Rejuves going second every time. I don't want to see this card in my opening hand because I want a card that's going to do something right then and there. So I think going second, board breakers are the way to go. I think Kaijus. Kaijus are good, but I would only put them in against like really difficult to remove cards. Think like Towers cards or things like that. That are going to, or if your opponent's playing like a Monster Floodgate. I don't know how much of that is in the format, but for example, against Archmage, I probably wouldn't put this in. Against Exosister, I'm probably not putting this in. Maybe I'm putting it in against Exosister, but I feel like these cards do the same thing. What I think you should be doing is playing board breakers that are going to affect multiple cards at once. Things like Ultimate Slayer, if you can find the extra deck space for it. Dark Ruler, I think, is the best side deck card going second in this deck because you don't care about not being able to OTK your opponent because you're making an unbreakable board. And then things like Lightning Vortex as well. Geez, that glare is crazy. Things like Lightning Vortex as well are going to also be where the money's at. So, and just like before, I'm going to take out the Super Rejuves. I might take out the Basil Rose Shoot. And then, some of the Armed Dragon Thunder cards, I think aren't needed as well. So, that's, where's the other Super Rejuves? So those are all cards I would probably want to take out. That leaves you 8 spots. Really easy to take out. And maybe there's a possibility to take out of here. There be dragons going second as well. So I think that there's a lot of innovation, and I think that the side deck is not figured out for this deck. But there's a lot of fun things that you can do with it. I just think that that's the direction I would go in, instead of like trying to put in, oh no, I'm going second, I'm going to put in as many hand traps as possible. I don't think that's necessary. I think you only want to play the hand traps to be added layers of interruption after you Super Rejuve and make like a truly unbreakable board. So, yeah, that's Dragon Rulers. Like I always say, this deck is so fun. Play it. Only reason I haven't been playing it is because there's a bunch of other things I want to be playing. And it takes a lot of brain power. This deck is really difficult to pilot, especially when you're playing against a board and trying to balance everything. But the deck is really cheap. As far as I'm aware, the only card that's worth anything is Spectrals. Spectrals are like $9 at the time of recording. And then, if you spring for the QCRs, it's even more. But yeah, like the deck's decently cheap. Like you can even get like the QCR big dragons for like $3 or $4 a piece. So give it a try. The deck's super fun. And it's really rewarding. It does just kind of it doesn't lose to itself. It's very consistent in what it does. But it does just lose to certain cards. You know, your Drolls, your Shifters, your Nibirus and stuff like that, and the unfun cards that are floating around in the format. Unfortunately, I hope those cards, you know, see a point increase, and so they're a little less prevalent. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's a really fun deck, and yeah, that's about it. Leave some suggestions in the comments below. I don't know what the next video will be, but it'll probably be Genesys related, or advanced related. I'm getting into advanced as well. So, yeah, we'll see you next time.